Hey, it's Samantha Hartley of the Profitable Joyful Consulting Podcast. This season, we are talking about consulting ideas. And the fundamental idea that you should strive for in your business is to work exclusively with perfect clients. Those are clients who exactly what they need is exactly what you do. They are a perfect fit for you. And how you recognize them very often is by developing and maintaining a perfect client profile. So today I'm going to talk to you about how to do that, exactly what should go in your perfect client profile, and how you can use it to not just recognize, but actually attract clients to your business. So years ago, I worked with a consultant who was putting together a profile of his clients together with me. And he flounced into our meeting one day and sat down and said, they show up for their meetings. He'd just been no-showed and realized that this kind of thing cannot happen if they're going to be a perfect client for him. So we create these profiles for many reasons. And one of the most important of them is that you need to pull things out of your head and your heart and get them onto paper. They don't really help us if they're kind of floating around in our brains as like these ideas. Once you put it onto paper, you begin to act in accordance with things that are on the paper. So I really want you to take the time to intentionally create a client profile. The client profile is going to be like a big list of the qualities and attributes of a perfect client. And mine, when I first did it, was about 1.5 pages long, single-spaced, small type. It was like I was very, very detailed about what I was looking for. And that's the kind of thing that I create together with my clients. And I'll share some examples with you as we go of things that people have put into their perfect client profiles. But that kind of clarity that happens when you write down, you're like creating a wish list of what your perfect client is. And you're going to base that on other perfect clients you have worked with or the closest thing that you've had to a perfect client. And that is so important because you don't just have to work with whoever shows up. And one of my biggest, first of all, mantras in my business is to work exclusively with perfect clients. There are many reasons to do so, and profitable and joyful are two of them. We know that perfect clients are more profitable than people who are not a very good fit. You will find that people that you work with, if they're not a great fit, they kind of, they don't usually do your core services. They take a lot of time. There's no flow in the work. And a lot of times they can be actually problematic and cost you money. So there was a study from an organization, like an architecture or building organization, that said the greatest determiner of profit or lack of profitability in a project is client selection. So if you're not careful in who you choose to work with, you can just flat out end up with an unprofitable client engagement. So it seems like, hey, working with a perfect client, like feels like, that's nice to do. Like, it's more joyful, right? That's why we should do it. But there are actual business reasons why you need to choose perfect clients, and they actually are more profitable than clients who are not a great fit for you. So you can let yourself off the hook and not think like, well, this is nice, but I don't really have to do this. This is absolutely essential. It is essential that you work with perfect clients. So defining what makes a perfect client for you is therefore an imperative. Like you have to know exactly who that is, who you're looking for, who you're asking to be referred to you. And when someone shows up, you need to be able to discern from your profile, the list of qualities that you're talking about, if the person sitting in front of you is a perfect client or not. So the specificity in this document is going to be part of what is going to create that clarity for you. You're going to know when you see them, is this person a fit for us or not? And, once you're working together, are they complying with the things that are on your list? So this is going to be for client attraction. So you can talk about who is a good client for you. I will describe many times during this podcast and my marketing writing, I will describe qualities of perfect clients so that when people hear those, they think, oh, that's me. So it's not just the problems we're describing, like, hey, if you are, stuck in unprofitable engagements, right? That is a problem of my perfect clients. But I will also describe things that make them perfect, which is they think big about their businesses. They do something amazing for their clients. They are amazing at what they do. They are, yearning to have more in their business. They want to be profitable. They want to be joyful. Those are qualities of my perfect clients. And I can pull those straight from my perfect client profile. And when I say those, a certain kind of person is going to be attracted to that message. And that's going to be the same case for you to describe in detail who that perfect client is so that they recognize themselves when they hear the message. Once you have your profile put together, you're going to read it every day. So what happens when you read this list every day, and I can quote mine, I originally created it probably over 10 years ago, and I can still quote from my original document line by line. By the way, I haven't changed it much over the years. I have slightly evolved some aspects of it, but those core qualities are still those core qualities. So when you read it every single day, what happens is the reticular activating system in your brain, which is the part that recognizes patterns out in the world, is going to look for those qualities outside of you. The other thing that happens is you have externalized from your own ideas and thoughts and desires and wishes, you've externalized the qualities that you want to see in perfect clients. And then by reading them, you internalize them again, but in a different way. So you've clarified, this is what I want. This is what I want to find out there in the world. And now when you have it on paper, you're like, aha, that's a person who complies with these things. That is a person of this demographic, of that psychographic, meaning a business of this certain size, that's an owner. She's just talked about having this challenge, and she's just mentioned these other things. So when you have those specific words, that specific language in front of you, and you're reading that every single day, you are internalizing it. And believe me, that internal radar is like on the lookout for it, so that you're going to see that and recognize it out in the world around you. It also makes it super easy for you to ask for referrals because you know exactly who makes a good referral for you. You can share this document with anybody. You can share it with potential clients. You can share it with referral partners. It's in some ways it's an internal document. There may be something in there that you don't want to share with everybody, but for the most part, I will happily share it with my potential clients because I want them to know, hey, here's what a perfect client for me looks like. So they can opt in or opt out. So it is definitely the kind of document that you can use in your marketing and also for your own preparing your mind to look for what you're looking for. Another great quality is that of this list is that people want to conform to it. People want to comply and match it. So I have had my clients many times call out one of the lines in it and say that they're doing it. Like, let me know. I know that list that you have, and I'm doing that thing that you want your clients to do. So at the very bottom of my list of perfect client qualities, I have a line about that my perfect clients have offices all over the world, and they occasionally fly me in to work with them. So I have that there because even ever since I started my business 20 years ago, I've been home-based. And so sometimes I'll work at client site, but usually it's client site in my town. So it's really nice when a client will fly me to somewhere. So recently my clients flew me out to San Diego to work on a team retreat with their clients, with their company. So it was fun to have my clients, who are, by the way, very, very perfect, like a very, very good fit for me, to have them do something which is actually on my list. And my clients know when they've done that because they've actually read that list before. Why? Because I do this exercise together with them. So it kind of organically comes up in our conversations that they know the things that are on it. And another thing that's on that list is they pay me joyfully and on time. I always say that the best money that I spend in my business is paying my team, because I love the work that they take off my plate. I love the way that they help me expand my business. I love all of the things that they bring to the table. And believe me, if you ever have a moment when you're paying someone, writing a check to someone, or metaphorically speaking, writing a check, because we rarely write checks nowadays. When you're paying someone, if you have a moment of like crankiness or just don't feel that good about them, that there's information in that. So that's why I want my clients to pay me joyfully, because they're thinking, yay, this is like some of the best money I ever spend in my business, and on time, speaks for itself. So I had a client recently say to me, whenever I see that charge come across from you, I just think how grateful I am. And, she's reflecting back, I am paying that joyfully. So that's, it's showing you that when you clarify client expectations to your clients, perfect clients will respond by saying, oh, I want to do that. I want to do the thing that they want me to do. Right. And this kind of transitions me into my last point about this, which is boundaries. You can have really good boundaries with clients when you express them, when you set in those expectations and have those expectations in place. So as you can hear in the example I just used, and on time, there's a boundary there. People should pay you on time. You can have other boundaries, like my clients expect me to work between the hours of this and this, or don't expect me to work whenever. I think mine says, my clients understand that I will work as much as or as little as I need to in order to get the work done, and don't micromanage me. That's an experience that I had in the very beginning of working in my consulting business, and I loved it. And I thought, I don't think my clients need to expect me to work like a 9 to 5 work day, right? That just doesn't, it's not how our businesses work. This exercise and a lot of the concepts come from a book I read many years ago called Attracting Perfect Customers. There's 2 women authors who wrote it, and I will put a link to the book in the show notes so you can pick up your copy. I highly recommend getting the book, reading it. There is so much more in it than just this exercise, which, as you can hear, I have completely internalized into my business and I use with all my clients. So the making of this perfect client profile, what you are going to do is take like a big sheet of paper. There's kind of a visualization first that happens with this, and then there's the actual writing it down. What you want to do is call to mind the most perfect client you have ever had. Like somebody that you had a thrilling, wonderful work experience with, like profitable and joyful, just wonderful. If you have not had that, but you have had a wonderful working experience with somebody who, for example, wasn't a paying client, but who is a model for what you want your clients to feel like, you can also use that experience. So you want to, as closely as possible, conform to who that person was, be very specific about what made that person a perfect client. So you can just start off by just describing them. When I did this exercise, I wrote, she's an artist, a working professional person. She just brought art to her work, even as a consultant. She's doing incredible work. She's an innovative thinker. She has a family. And so she provides, she does this work so she can provide for them, but also be home with them as much as possible. So I just wrote her entire kind of story out in this kind of third person way, just describing her. And then you want to say, how could she be even better? Well, in this case, this was a client who, like many of my clients, by the way, was not thrilled about marketing and didn't really love it, but did love her brand and her identity and those aspects. And so you just write improvements, like how could it have been better? It could be more profitable. I wish the duration of the engagement had been longer, things like that. And then you can begin to build like the most perfect potential client for this profile. I like to start it with demographics. So demographics means something identifiable externally. So profession. So they are, middle market companies in the $25 to $50 million range. I work with the CEOs. The CEOs are, have been in their position for 3 years or less, and they have, 100 to 500 employees, just whatever are those qualities. They're located in, the Midwest, and they have this many divisions or whatever. So you can describe those qualities in the beginning of your document, because the demographics of a perfect client are as important to get down as any of the rest of this. So get that out of there, and then start going into the qualities that you want them to have, the attributes, the personality. So when I did this, I would say things like they think big about their businesses. They want to make their business does something good for their clients, their community, and maybe even the world. They have, and then go on and on and on from there. And so I find that we're inspired from 2 places. We're inspired by describing those perfect clients that we have and we love. And then there are the ones that we hate, or those times when we were super frustrated by something that happened, like Neil was when he walked into the meeting and said, this, my clients actually show up. They need to show up for meetings. I was doing this one time for a luxury bed and breakfast, and they got really into this exercise. But places like that have a very good idea of their brand identity because they live inside of it. And so they said, oh, our perfect clients, they listen to NPR, they said. They're the owners of dogs, big dogs. See the importance in these details? And then they said, they don't dye their hair in our bathroom. So scarred by this, in the past, they have got something in there, which is a quality. This is inspired by a negative thing that happened. So if you have clients who, have been late for payments, don't show up on time for meetings, any of those negatives, I prefer that you write it in a positive way. They show up on time rather than they're not late. But make sure that you are documenting those things. These are going to be boundaries that you're going to hold in the future. These are going to be identifiable qualities that you're going to look for. And if that seems a little bit woo-woo, you can ask about these things when you are interviewing clients. I mean, doing discovery calls. When you're doing discovery calls and you're talking with somebody who wants to be your client or who is a potential client, remember the selling relationship isn't so much that you're persuading them. A lot of times it's that you need to see if they are going to work for you. To be your client. And so you're going to want to interview them with challenging questions. And some of those challenging questions can be referring to qualities in your perfect client profile. So make sure that you are working with someone who is, expansive, who is able to handle you and who is going to fit and not bring up any of these negative qualities. So that whole document you will put together over, however many sessions it takes you to do this. You can sit down and do this in a day, or you might choose to kind of take some of this assignment on your daily walk or your chopping vegetable or tub time, wherever these kind of ideas come to you, and think about what that profile of a perfect client is for you. Now, I've described this entire process. Now, most people leave that out and are like, oh, I'm looking for, my target audience is this plus this, these like two qualifiers. You can see how they're going to be hit and miss in attracting perfect clients. There is power in this exercise in being thorough, in this being the foundation of your business. I don't think there's anything more important in your business than who you are working with, right? People make us either crazy or they make us feel fulfilled. So take the time to do an exercise like this. Put your whole entire profile together. And then, as I said, read this thing every day. Share it with your mastermind members. Share it with friends and family, any referral partners. Make sure that people know what is good about these qualities for you, what makes a perfect client and why. And you will find that you will start to attract them. In the very beginning, part of the reason I, like everyone else, was inspired to do this exercise is that I had had some traumatizingly terrible clients. I'm grateful to them because they taught me a lot. But what they taught me in many cases was how to avoid more people like them. So their opposites are described in my perfect client profile. Nowadays, I just don't attract that kind of person anymore. The gap or the distance between my most perfect, most favorite client and the bottom is like almost nothing. All my clients are so close to perfect, they would still fit on the field of perfect. Somebody can maybe near the edge, but everybody is still on the field. And that's what I want for you. I want you to have only exquisite client experiences where you are so understood and so valued by them that you bring forward your best work to help them get amazing results. That's what I look for you to do in the world. And I look for all of your engagements and your client work to be both profitable and joyful. Thanks for watching. Please like this video, subscribe to the channel, and click the bell to get video updates. Thanks.